Welcome back, reality designers. Denny Van here. If you can believe it or not, we are already on episode 25, and we're getting close to the end of the year 2024. Whew, time is flying. If you can agree, definitely let me know in the comments how time is flying for you. But in this episode, I want to talk about this deconditioning that human design talks about. This theory of deconditioning, what it is, what it's not, and what you can do to begin this process. And this deconditioning in human design, it is a process of becoming aware of and freeing yourself from ingrained patterns of behavior that do not align with your true nature as defined by your human design. So, this conditioning comes from external sources like our parents, our society, and even the theory is the energetic movement of planets and stuff like that affect our energy. So it impacts both defined and undefined centers in your human design chart. And so if you look at your human design chart, you look at and you'll see 9 centers. And if you look at those 9 centers, some of them may be colored and others may be white. For example, in my human design, 5 of the lower centers are undefined or white. And the 4 other centers, including the solar plexus, the emotional center, the throat being a manifester, and the head, the 2 in the head. So these, my undefined centers, gosh, I wish I knew this stuff when I was younger. Phew, it would have saved so much headache. But now I know, this is part of the deconditioning process. But if you can understand that this impacts both, but we're going to specifically be talking about the undefined centers because they are especially susceptible to conditioning because they're open to the influence of others. And this conditioning can lead to frustration, failure, and maybe even our health, manifesting ill health. And as you pursue desires or chase after things that are not meant to be consistent in your life, then the role of strategy and authority in your human design, this will provide a framework for deconditioning through understanding and living in accordance with your type, your strategy, and your authority. Just start with those 3 things. That's it. You can go down the rabbit hole like I did. I started learning about human design around 2016. And your design type, for example, I'm a manifester. You might be a generator, generating manifester, projector, or reflector, depending on your type, your energy type. So, knowing what that is, that's the first thing. And then your authority, because your authority guides you in your decision making process. And for me, my authority is an emotional authority. We have sacral authority, splenic authority, or splenic authority, egoic authority, those kind of things. So if you follow your authority, this is going to guide you with how you make decisions and the process of your decision making. And then when you align with your strategy and authority, you begin to make choices that are energetically correct for you. So, this attuning, aligning, zipping up, whatever you want to call it, this opening of a path, with your strategy and authority, these other choices begin to open up to you that weren't there before. And your true self begins to emerge. And it's this true self is free from conditioned patterns. And these could be behavior patterns, thought patterns. Some call them masks, like we put on the mother mask, the patient mask, the client mask, the CEO mask, the accountant mask, whatever mask we're putting on. I'm not talking about those parts of you. This is this true self that begins to emerge and begins to become free from these conditioned patterns. So, human design theorizes that this is a 7-year process. So, the theory of human design suggests that deconditioning is a gradual process that takes about 7 years. And it's also the time it takes for the body to physically renew itself. So, over a period of 7 years, every single cell in your body has theoretically renewed itself. So, during this time, awareness of your true nature gradually replaces old conditioned behavior patterns. But sometimes these patterns are so ingrained in us. So this transformation, it does begin to happen on a cellular level. And this leads to more authentic and fulfilling choices and to a more fulfilling life, a more satisfying life. However, this deconditioning in the undefined centers, this will help us provide specific pathways where we can go and how deconditioning manifests in our undefined centers. So I'm going to go center through center. And if you identify with this and this aligns with you, become aware of this. And that right there is the first step in starting this deconditioning process is awareness. And we teach a 4-step process because this first step is part of your success mechanism that is now being activated. So, starting with undefined root center. Now, I have an undefined root center, and now looking back, because hindsight is 22. Looking back, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense why this would happen, but it could lead to feeling pressured by the stress of others in making quick decisions. So, being an undefined root, I need to see all my choices. I need to kind of back up, look at the whole picture, see how my body feels in it, try it on, walk around in it. You know what I'm saying? And I do remember being pressured to come on, let's make a decision, go with it. Even coaching in business, make a decision, go with it. Wait a second. I haven't quite digested this. It's like, oh, okay, that's my undefined root trying to be conditioned. That's not how this energy works. So listening to that was very key in moving forward with my business and things that are happening in my life. So let me know if you identify this, because deconditioning this involves recognizing, again, awareness, and managing the external pressure. So I come up with practice responses. For example, Denny, can you do this, this, and this? And of course, my people pleaser mask is going to come out and say, yes, of course I can do that. But now I stop myself because I have an undefined root and I recognize. So managing that external pressure, I might say, I need to talk to my husband about that. Let me get back to you on Monday or something like that. So I will condition myself to decondition my usual response of being a people pleaser, right? To create those boundaries for myself, because this is the work. Listen up, this is the work. Create those boundaries for myself, know when to say no so that I can be very clear on when I need to say yes. So this is the undefined root center. Next is the undefined sacral center. These are individuals who may feel pressure to be consistently active or give more energy than they have. And being surrounded in my family with generators and manifesting generators. Oh my gosh, manifesting generators. They're all over the place. I can't keep up. But now understanding and looking back, it's like, okay, I had an undefined sacral center. It's like, come on, let's go. You work until you die. And it's like, no, I can't work until I die because I actually literally almost did die. So understanding that I have an undefined sacral center and that other generators, because more than half the population theoretically are generators. 51%, I think it is. So tell me in the comments if you think that's right. So as generators, you have that energy. You have a defined sacral center. You can go until you're exhausted, wake up the next day and do it again. But somebody with a manifester energy and an undefined sacral, this is where I can be conditioned. And then I do those things and I ended up exhausting myself to death. So recognizing that and learning those boundaries and recognizing that's what's happening in others around me and that's okay. That's their energy. That's how their energy works. And then honoring my energy. So now next, deconditioning undefined sacral center involves honoring your energy limits and responding authentically to life's invitations. So that means you get clear on what you need to say no to so that you can respond authentically to what you need to say yes to. And you cannot see what you need to say yes to if you have all this conditioning going on in the sacral center. Next is the undefined spleen center. So this can manifest as chasing after fleeting feelings of well being. Everything's good, it's all at peace, even though inside, it's not so well. So, deconditioning involves developing a deeper understanding of what truly nourishes and supports your well being. So, instead of chasing out there, because I know I have an undefined spleen, instead of chasing out there, listen to your body because your body is going to tell you what it needs, what it's going to nourish you. And it is an experiment. So, kind of looking out there and asking your inner self, align me with what it is my body needs. And um, as a 5-1, the one in me, the researcher, I'm amazed at the things that come into my experience that I can really go deeper into what nourishes the body on all different levels of well being. All right, so what's next? Yeah, understanding what truly nourishes you, whether you're defined or undefined, splenic, really understanding what nourishes and feeds you in your growth, in your expansion, is the first step in our 4-step process of activating your success mechanism. And yeah, awareness. Become aware. That's all you got to do is just become aware. Okay, there it is. There it is. So now an undefined solar plexus. So I'm defined. I have a defined solar plexus. But if you're undefined, this can lead to getting caught up in the emotional waves of others. So I'm going to tell you, defined will do this too. But for undefined, they're getting caught up. You are getting caught up in emotional waves of others by conditioning. So you see others doing it, so you get emotional because others are doing it, but it doesn't feel authentic to you. If this is true for you, let me know. How to decondition this. What this involves is developing emotional clarity and making decisions from a place of inner peace, inner satisfaction, inner knowing, rather than from emotions. Because emotions are energy in motion. So it's hard to make a decision when everything is in motion. So you want to make sure you're in a calm, stable, peaceful place before making any big decisions. Now, I'm a trained death doula, so I help people through the death and dying process. And one of the things we do is recognize grieving and myself facing death. I'm being projected on and conditioned what death looks like. And as going through the grieving process of, okay, I could be dead in 2 years, developing emotional clarity, even though I have a defined emotional solar plexus, really helped with my decision making process. And when I work with people, I recommend they don't make any big decisions for at least a year after the death of a loved one, a spouse, someone really close to you. Let your body go through that grieving period. But if you have an undefined solar plexus, become aware of others wanting to define that and tell you how you should grieve. So if you have an undefined one, listen to your body. All right, so find that place of inner peace, inner knowing. And this is not what the mind is telling you. So there is a difference. Find that space. And it takes getting to know yourself. So take that time to get to know yourself. And the rewards are just unlimiting. All right, so next is the heart center. And I have an undefined heart center. And those with an undefined heart center may struggle with feelings of inadequacy, not being good enough, or trying to prove their worth through external achievements. So I can tell you I'm pretty guilty of this because I have lots of certificates. I have all the certificates that anything that interests me, I dive into it, I get the certificate, and, it's like, okay, that's knowledge that I've built on to my growing and my expanding. But my heart was undefined. I really didn't grasp onto one thing. I grasped onto everything. So let me know if this resonates with you. And for deconditioning this, it does involve recognizing and accepting your inherent self worth. I am worthy of not knowing these things because the information is going to be there when I need it. Trusting it, knowing your heart will never let you down when the heart and mind are in coherence. Having that fine tuning of your own frequency. And this can really help decondition what shouldn't be in your heart. That frequency will clean out what should not be attached to your heart or in your heart. All right, so this self-worth is so important in the deconditioning process because sometimes things come up that maybe we're not proud of or we don't want to tell the story of. And that's the beauty of this 4-step process when we work together. You don't tell the story of it. You use step number 2, making the subjective objective. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to know more about that, because that's a powerful step in the 4-step process. All right, so next from the heart, we have the throat center. And I have a defined throat center. And I find that I have a very powerful throat center. But people with an undefined throat center may feel pressured to speak up or express themselves when they're not ready. So my husband has an undefined throat center. So he needs to go through his authority, which is sacral, and he's a triple definition. So he needs processing time to be able to express himself verbally through the throat center. So if that is you, and you have an undefined throat center, definitely pay attention to that and give yourself the time and space you need before being able to speak up. If somebody says, hey, speak up, you might feel conditioned to rush and speak up, and then the words don't come out in alignment with who you are. So, deconditioning this does involve embracing silence, being okay with silence, and speaking only when it feels authentic. Now, somebody who has a defined throat center, I may be someone who may have conditioned someone to say, hey, speak up. You should speak up. But of course, I should speak up, but I'm projecting onto them what I should do, right? I don't know what their energy centers are. And then them hesitating and learning how to listen to that. It's like, oh, maybe they shouldn't speak up. So listen to your body as opposed to what others are telling you. All right. So after the throat, we have the two in the head. We have the head center and then the ajna center. So in the head center, if you have an undefined head center, this can manifest as constantly seeking mental stimulation or trying to solve everyone's problems. And you might be the kind of person that might solve the movie. You might have figured out the movie like within the first 20 minutes kind of thing. So deconditioning involves recognizing and trusting your own inner wisdom and allowing your mind to rest. It's it's like I have a defined head center. So when my mind is going, I notice it the tighter my body is. The tighter my body is, the more my mind goes. The more I can relax my body, the more my mind relaxes. And sometimes my mind will receive, because remember, we are sending and receiving transmitters. Sometimes my thoughts or my receiving transmitter might receive thoughts that are not mine. So I'll ask myself, are these thoughts mine? So, especially if you have an undefined head center, I would say, suggest, or maybe ask the question, are most of your thoughts not yours? I mean, where are these thoughts coming from? You are a sending and receiving transmitter. So you may be more open to receive others' thoughts. Have you ever said something and then somebody else said, I was just thinking that? So you received their thoughts and then expressed it verbally. So that may have happened to you. So above the head center is the ajna center. And heading back to the head center, this is really good whether you're defined or undefined. Allowing your mind to rest. Just say you have permission to rest, especially before bed. And I'm noticing how important it is to have a bedtime routine because remember, these bodies are creatures of habit. This meat suit likes routine. And in my routine, I like to dim the lights, turn everything down, quiet everything down, and eventually all the lights are off. So my body loves this routine. So allow your mind to rest. Now, for an undefined ajna center, this can lead to overthinking, doubting your intuition, like you get an intuitive thought maybe, and then your thoughts overpower. It's like, oh no, second guessing. And then later on, you should have, yeah, been there, done that, right? Doubting your intuition. Or maybe trying to hyper discipline or adopting very rigid mental frameworks and trying to really stay within a framework. And you may have been conditioned to do that. So, deconditioning would involve trusting your intuitive insights and allowing your mind to be flexible and open. So, allowing other ideas to come in, not just falling in on one idea or putting all your focus, attention, and awareness in one basket, but allowing, because your head is open to all possibilities and maybe even to the akashic records flowing through you if you study that. So that is something that you can experiment with within your energy. I think the one I skipped, I know I skipped one here. There it is. The G center, the undefined G center. Because remember, in human design, there's 9 centers, as opposed to the chakra system, which has 7 centers along the spine. So we adapted it and evolved. The theory is in the mid 1700s. So, with an undefined G center, this can manifest as a lack of a consistent sense of self and constantly seeking external validation, or maybe even trying to be more like somebody else externally. And then getting validation by somebody saying, oh, you look like so and so, or you do this like so and so. And so that's conditioning. So you're getting validation from external sources, not from inside, not from you, not from the true you. So this deconditioning process could involve surrendering, just letting go of the oars and surrender to the flow of life and allow your identity, not who you think you are, but who you really are, to emerge organically. And that's the idea of this deconditioning process. It's an organic process, it's an unfolding, it's an opening. And what's going to be really important during all of this deconditioning process, whether you're deconditioning the G center or any other center, it's going to be important for self patience and self acceptance. This is so important as you go through this deconditioning process. And this is why we have support. And with Hypnosis by Design, we teach you a self directed self hypnosis 4-step activation, because this 4 steps, this success mechanism is already within your blueprint. So we provide that for you as you go through this deconditioning process. And I know human design said it's a 7-year process, but I'm here to tell you that it's a never ending process. It does get easier, but sometimes things come up in our reality that has like a shockwave factor that sometimes you got to go like, whoa, didn't see that coming, and allow your body to process, and then stuff might come up. So really this deconditioning process is a never ending process, but it does get easier. Definitely. It is not an overnight process, and it's not for everyone. This is self-reflective, self discovery, and doing this alone can be pretty challenging. So we provide that space and create that patience, self acceptance, and willingness to experiment. And that's why we created the human design deconditioning experiment, providing you with the tools and the space to allow yourself to go through this process and experiment with living in alignment with your true nature. So, as you begin to embark, if you've listened this far, good on you. So, as you continue to embark on this journey, you know, check in. What is important to you? Because it is important to remember that there's no need to judge or try to change yourself. That's important. But human design simply provides a roadmap for recognizing and embracing your authentic self. All right, so if this is something that you loved and you would love more of, I definitely want to hear from you. So whether you are listening on our Substack or listening on where else are we? iTunes or Spotify or on YouTube. Let us know where you're listening from and let us know what you would love to hear more of. And in the meantime, keep being amazing.